Think you know the Brooks Ghost? Think again. Introducing the all-new, better-than-ever Ghost 16. Now with nitrogen-infused cushioning for lightweight, supreme softness that feels good every step, every street, every single day. So go ahead, take your daily joyride in the all-new nitrogen-infused Ghost 16. It'll turn your everyday miles into everyday endorphins. Let's run there. Head to brooksrunning.com to learn more.
Alright, what's up guys? Welcome to another episode of the TMossBoss Show, and in today's episode, so it's probably going to upset some that I'm giving up on Elden Ring, but here's the thing though, and you know, I am going to talk on the whole skill level conversation and stuff, because I just know that there will be people trying to say that, oh, it's because your skill level ain't up and stuff. And the thing is this, I said it before and I said it again. You're not going to be playing video games for 20 years and not have a good skill level when it comes to all video games. Now, I would say for myself that I've played a lot of different video games out there. From video games that require 100% of your brain, 90%, 80%, 50%, 10%, to literally no percentage at all. You can play that game, go into it doing whatever it is that you want to do, have fun. That's, in my opinion, the key thing of a video game is having fun. Now, if a developer looks beyond that and they're like, oh, let's make the most challenging game of all time, that's not looking at it in a fan's perspective. That's looking at it in your perspective. Because if I'm coming out with a video game, the thing is this, I want to use a example real quick of what happens when a person that knows about the field that they're getting into, they overall know how to make whatever it is that they're getting into entertaining. For an example, the WWE right now. I would have to say the WWE is in the best possible state that it is in. Why? Because you have somebody that used to be a wrestler that's making the moves, talking on the man Triple H. If it wasn't for Triple H, I really don't know where WWE would be at right now. Because the thing is this, he's listening to the fans. He has listened to the fans. He knows what the fans want. He knows that the fans, they want entertainment. They don't want all this other extra stuff. They don't want to face challenges when watching wrestling. No, they want entertainment. They want to see wrestlers do some of the most craziest stuff. They want to see wrestlers turn on their best friends. And it's like, fam, that's even in their vocabulary to be turning on people like that. Turning on your best friend ain't in their vocabulary. That's not in their brain. But when they do it, it's like, oh my God, what just happened? You know, he knows how to capture the fans' attention because he used to be a wrestler. So my thing is this, when you get in, if the developers behind Elden Ring, if they play video games, then they should have played more, because they need to overall understand that it's like not every video game out there had this big, crazy, challenging like gameplay and stuff. So to explain to you, because I don't know if you guys have seen the last stream that I did where I was playing Elden Ring. So I followed people's advice. I listened to them. And this is one of the main reasons why, when I already know how I feel about something, I already know that I'm not going to like it. But then every time there's always that one person, or if not many people, that tell me to go do something, or like, oh, do the other thing. And then it's like, okay, I do the other thing. Now I didn't face challenges with that. Now what am I'm supposed to? So overall, what I did was that big giant golden man on the golden horse, I ran past him. I went in a different direction, and then I ended up going through some weird gate thing, and I can see this guy standing above like the area where I was at. So I'm like, okay, you know what? Let me go ahead and see what the business is with him. Same scenario, same situation. Fought him, 2 hits, died. I wasn't the one that killed him. He killed me. 2 hits. Now, my thing is this. You know, because people, they're obviously, they're going to run to the whole skill level argument and stuff. So, why can I not bring my own skill where I know for a fact? Because the thing is this. If I bring my own skill to this game, I'm going to have to modify the game. I don't want to modify the game. I'm not that type of person. I don't like cheating, in order to win. But my thing is this. If I done signed up for something and I'm facing all these different challenges, I think there's this, what's that word? Practice. Why isn't there no like, oh, like, let's have these enemies here for practice. Let's have, just something that can overall help you get better at the game. But it's like we're gonna pretty much put you in a situation where there ain't no guidance, because that was another reason why I didn't really want to play that game anymore, is that there isn't no guidance on when it's like, okay, you want me to go follow the story, but it's like there is a story, but it's like you don't give me no guidance. I'm supposed to just run around, just get killed a bunch of different times. What fun is that? Like, how many people buy a video game to lose? Because I think for the most part, everybody in any video game out there where there is some sort of, because most video games usually have some sort of combat. You might get that chilled, relaxing, fun game where there isn't no combat. There isn't, a whole lot of different things to do. Like it's a non-combat game. And it's games like that where it's like, those be the games where it's fun. But it's like, those be the games where they only usually last maybe an hour or two. And then it's like, now I gotta go find something else to play. But the thing is this. Most games that has some sort of, whether it's a sport game, a racing game, a fighting game, any sort of game where you're going up against somebody, you usually buy that game to win, correct? Now, why do you think most people went out and buy Elden Rings? They want to beat the bosses. Why do you think people go out and they buy Gran Turismo? So they can win races. Why do you think people go out and buy Madden, NBA 2K? Let me think of some other video game, Need for Speed, F1. Let me think of some other games, like just games I got. Prototype, Call of Duty, The Walking Dead, the Survival Instinct, because I just recently picked that game up. But just naming off some games where they usually have some sort of combat in there. Do you buy that game to lose the combat or to win the combat? Like, that's the thing that I feel like a lot of people, because it's like they just want to be a diehard fan, and if anybody agrees with the game, they want to argue with them, and it's like, okay, you might like that game, you might find that game easier than, most people and stuff, but I'm looking at the facts of this game. The game is too difficult, way too difficult. If you're having, and it's like, and it's not even a difficulty where it's like, like, I don't know how to play the game. I obviously know how. My thing is this: if I didn't know how to play the game, I wouldn't even have fooled with that game in the first place. But it's like, when you watch trailers, when you watch videos, you kind of get an understanding of what this game is. Overall, it's a fighting game. But when you have it where it's like the enemies have more of an advantage than I do, it's like, fam, I'm not buying a game so I could just keep losing and keep dying. That's something that I'll never forget. And it's like, and it's funny because, for the pretty much a good majority of my life, I've always have played video games on the easiest difficulty. And so I always thought there was something wrong with that, and I remember at one point in time, I was upping the difficulty when it came to video games. But then I remember I was working at my old job. There was a friend of mine that used to work there where he was also a gamer, and I remember he was telling me that, like, he doesn't buy a video game to lose. He doesn't buy a video game to feel like a loser. So it's like, if I go and I put that video game on easiest difficulty, there ain't nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that at all. And that was just that confirmation that I needed, where it's like, it is okay to play a video game on the easiest difficulty. Now, why Elden Ring? Why the developers decided, like, and it's like, that game is difficult. If you can't look at that game, and the only reason why I feel like they wouldn't look at it as a difficult game is because they're the developers. Of course they're not going to look at it as a difficult game. But I guarantee and I promise you, there will be a video game out there if they do play other games besides their games. I always wondered that. I always wondered if developers play other games besides their games. But I wonder, how do they react when they're playing a game and it is the most challenging game out there? They can't get past it. They can't do nothing with it. What do they overall do? I guarantee and I promise you they stop playing that game. I guarantee and I promise you that. So it's like, well, and I just know that there'll be people out there where they'll want to argue with me about it. And it's like, okay, lay out any and every argument out there. It's a skill issue, fine, so be it. If that's what you want to live with, that you gonna have a skill issue, you go ahead and say that if you want. But at the end of the day, I know that game, they're putting you in an environment where everybody else around you has an advantage. Except like the smaller enemies, like the random people that just be running around. But when you have some big old giant 9-10 foot tall enemy where it's like all they could do is take you out in a couple of hits, there isn't no skill issue with that. I don't know how people can look at a situation like that and be like, it's a skill issue. I'm not trying to have it where it's like I'm smashing the barrel roll button, done cramped up my hand just trying to go up against an enemy. Why does a game have to require that much of your energy just to play it? And I'm telling you right now, people might not believe this, but I promise you, there is going to be a day, and I really hope and pray that it ain't me. Well, I'm getting rid of the game, so I ain't got to worry about Elden Ring no more. And any other game that want to throw some challenges in my face, it can either get deleted or sold to GameStops. But my thing is this: there is going to be a day where people are playing some crazy, difficult, challenging video game out there. And one of those is going to be like 10 people. Everybody's going to get stressed out, flip out, go crazy, all that stuff, right? But there's going to be that one person that ends up having a medical emergency over this game. And I guarantee and I promise you, they're gonna have to do, like, it's gonna be those developers, the developers behind it's either if it's Elden Ring or if it's a different game, but let's just say it's Elden Ring. The developers are gonna have to answer for that. It's like, what are you guys going to do so people can play this game and not have it where it's like they're putting themselves in a situation where they're gonna have a medical emergency? Yeah, it's like they're gonna probably be warnings and all this other stuff, but it's like, no, at that given before something like that should even happen, you guys need to make it where your game is easy. Because everybody that's going to play the game, you go out, you spend however much money it is on this game. Like, because I think when I bought mine, I only spent like maybe $40 on my copy and stuff. But my thing is this. Let's say they go out and they buy the game on Steam. Like, I think currently right now the game is on sale on Steam. But let's just see how much it would cost without the sale. This game would cost $59.99, and then if you want to get the new DLC along with the game, then that'll be $79.99. Then if you want to get the deluxe edition with the DLC and all that crap, then that's $99.99. You're spending that much on the game, and it's like, nah, fam, I should be able to have an advantage where I'm taking, if I'm spending $100 on a video game, I should be able to have the advantage of the enemies, not the enemies having an advantage of me. That's like the crazy thing about it. It's like, let's say you go out, you buy a Netflix subscription, right? You get like some sort of Netflix subscription. You go out and you get it, and you're thinking like, oh, okay, this is gonna be dope. This is gonna be amazing. You see all these other people. They're well, I ain't gonna say everybody. Some people are having fun with this game. And you go and you watch it, but it's like you gotta like solve a Rubik's Cube just to get past every single scene in the TV show or movie that you're watching. Do you think you're gonna want to sit down and continue on subscribing to Netflix or watching a Netflix movie or TV show? No, you're gonna get ready, because I'm like, that's doing too much. And that's honestly how I feel when I'm going up against an enemy in Elden Ring. It feels like I'm solving a Rubik's Cube, and if I don't solve it in a certain amount of time, I end up dying. Or if I make two wrong moves, I end up dying, or I have to start all over again. What sense does that make? I'm saying it's stuff like that where it's like, my thing is this, if I'm going to set myself up for failure, I should be at least to have control over that. You know, but it's like to have it where you spend money on a video game and you don't have no control over it whatsoever, fam. That, because I'm saying, because one game in particular that they had, that they're saying like similar game to Elden Ring is God of War, fam. I made it through God of War. I can't say that I made it through the whole game, but there was an older God of War game that I played where I did make it through that. And I made it like halfway through this God of War game, and I realized that I had messed up, because there was like a boss-like enemy that I had to go up against in that game, and I realized I wasn't leveling up my character. Sometimes I forget to do that. It's not like that with Elden Ring. I know people are going to probably be all like, oh, maybe you didn't know. I just started the game. So it's like, I know I ain't gonna have that much of a rank up or leveling up or any of this other stuff. Whoa, what? Okay, so yeah, let's say I level up. So the enemy is gonna take them 3 or 4 hits to take me out. Meanwhile, it's still gonna take me 1,000 hits to take that enemy out. And it's like, and I'm gonna have to die about 100 times just to finally be able to build, like, okay, like every like hit that they take, then it's like, after every death, now I know how to dodge that hit, now I know how to dodge that other hit, now I know how to dodge that. That's doing too much. That's doing way too much. And that's why I'm like, no, fam, I'm selling this game. I do not care for playing it. More power to the developers. I hope they're successful with their game, but at the end of the day, their game is too difficult. That's something where I'm like, I don't care how. If you're a diehard fan and you want to find every single disagreement with what I'm saying, you can go right ahead and do that. Still, at the end of the day, I'm going to say what I've been saying. The game is too difficult. Point blank, period. I don't care how you feel. I don't care how the developers feel. I know how I feel, and I know I don't like playing a game where I can't get past nothing. But meanwhile, I could play God of War where it's literally the same video game, almost identical. Just as in this game, in God of War, you're playing as some god, and I'm like, okay, maybe that's what the situation needs to be in Elden Ring. Maybe my character needs to be a god. But it's like, my thing is this. You're not going to, and I feel like, let's just talk on God of War real quick. Let's just say Kratos, he isn't a God of War. Let's just say he's just an ordinary random man. Do you think he's going to be fighting dragons? Do you think he's going to be out here fighting Cyclopses? Do you think he's going to be out here fighting an Invincible Man? Well, some other enemies that I fight in that game. I'm saying there's so many different enemies that I went up against in that game. It's like, fam, I think at one point in time I was fighting wolves. It's like, do you think if he was an ordinary man like myself, do you think he would be go out there and fighting those enemies? No. He is going to be at his house chilling like the rest of the ordinary men in that game. But this man, the thing is this. Let's just sit here and hype up Kratos real quick. Kratos is a god. He is a god of war, which means that this man slips on his black forces and he gets ready to fight. He ain't gonna be out there all like, oh, let me dodge around and tease the enemy and do this and do that. No, that man, when he sees an enemy, he gets the swinging, okay? This man has an axe and he swings that axe. He can lunge it, have that axe come right back in his hand, and he's gonna get the swinging. And then his son, Atreus, whatever the little bro's name is, he got a bow and an arrow. Guess what he's gonna be doing? He's gonna be fighting too, because he got a little bit of a god in him. So, and my thing is this. If you know that you can fight, that's how you know if you get in a situation, you ain't got nothing to worry about. But my thing is this. If you know you cannot fight, that's when I gotta sit my Elden Ring character down and be like, why are you even putting yourselves in situations where you have to fight? You shouldn't even be out here right now. That doesn't even make any sense. That's like putting a soldier at war, yet they don't have no soldier experience. So it's like, and then they, oh no, that's pretty much in Elden Rings, in their way of explaining it. All you need to do is go through a day of training, and then after that, that's when we gonna send you overseas to fight a bunch of different battles, and you cannot die. Otherwise, you just pretty much lose, and you're gonna have to start all over again. Yeah, war ain't like that. They're going to give you the most amount of practice as they possibly can. They're going to let you do where you could probably even do some if you feel like you need more practice. And it's like, okay, they're going to do that for you and stuff. But if they know that you ain't cut out for that, they're not going to put you in a war situation. So I'm saying, it's like, the thing is this. If you're coming, because I know people would ask me, well, how would I come about developing a video game? Let's say I got to develop a video game just like Elden Ring. So it's like, what should I overall do? And it's like, and I had to make it just like Elden Ring. Okay, this is what I'm gonna end up doing. I come out with a video game. Let's call it, Battlelands or something, right? I come out with a video game. It's called Battlelands. It's this big giant open world game where you're an ordinary, and yeah, let's just say you're an ordinary man and you have to become like king of the jungle or king of the lands or something, all right? But there's a lot of people and a lot of enemies that you gotta go through in order to get to that point. So what I'm going to do is have it where the game, it's going to seem like it's a two-part game, because I'm going to have it where the first half of the game, you're going through practice. And then you come across some enemies where it's like, okay, I know I can handle this enemy. It's like I'll have some sort of, well, no, I mean, like, they do kind of like have that system already, like with Destiny and The Division, for an example, where it's like, if I know I can take that enemy, I'm going to take that enemy. But I think I would change it rather than having it where it's like level 1, level 2. I'll have it where it's different. It's a mental thing where it's like, okay, mentally, I know I can take that enemy because I can see them, I can read them, I can know that I can take that enemy. So let's just say the mental level currently, because I'm like, okay, I'm new to these areas, I'm new to these parts, but I'm trying to become king of the Battlelands and stuff. So I'm gonna have it where my mental level is at 100. I take out that enemy, I take their mental level, and it doubles. Now it's at 200, and now I came across another 200 enemy, and let's just say, okay, I might add some little challenge where it's like, okay, now let's say if it's back at that level 200, then there's a level 300 enemy. So it's like I accidentally stumbled upon this guy, but the thing is this. That's when the difficulty comes into play. I'm not going to have it where people play my game and they're getting stressed out on every little thing that exists in the game. I'm not going to have it where, oh, if I know I can't take on this guy, I'm going to skip. It's either you practice or you can put that game on the easiest difficulty and you can get past that guy. Because at the end of the day, video games is about entertainment. It's about fun. I don't want people to play my game and not have fun, you know? And then have it where it's all like, oh, if you want to get better, buy our brand new DLC where it'll give you a level boost and all this other stuff. And then you can take on them people. And I'm not going to scam fans either. I'm going to have it where you get a true experience with this game. And I will go based off of the years and years and years of experience that I've had with video games. Maybe just let's just see if I could do some research on the Elden Ring developers real quick, because I'm like, maybe they are gamers, maybe they're not gamers, but okay, Elden Ring developer FromSoft. Okay, let's see, company type, founder. Let's see, okay, so founder, gaming history. Let's just see. Is a Japanese game designer. In 1986, he founded From Software, which initially focused on business applications software. In 94, the company released their first game, Kingsfield. But it's like, does he play video? Okay, let's just see. I imagine he probably does, but does play? Why are they people talking about, does he have a girlfriend? I'm like, I ain't trying to get that deep in his personal life, but does such and such play video games? Okay, they just keep saying the same thing, but they're not like, why can't I find anything? Oh, it's like, yeah, there's like, people can't really find much on him and stuff, but anyways, I imagine it's like, the thing is this, I want to say that he does, but at the same time, it's like when you play a game like Elden Ring, it's kind of like you're looking in the lines of Vince McMahon, for an example. And I mean, yeah, even though Vince McMahon, he has done some sort of wrestling, I feel like his wrestling abilities and overall capturing the attention of the fans and knowing what the wrestlers want, that falling off. That was gone. That was, at one point in time, he was able, and I feel like that was probably because he was taking in a lot of information from wrestlers at that point in time. If not, then it was by the grace of God that man made it through a lot of different eras with wrestling, But at some point in time, it started falling off. Because I'm like, I guess for those that don't really follow wrestling, yes, at one point in time, Vince McMahon, he was in charge. I had to say, when it was Scandal that more so got him, kicked out of WWE. But no, even before that, there were things that he was doing with wrestling where it's like, when you look at that form of wrestling, and then when you look at other form of wrestling, like when you look at those guys that be at them indie shows, they're the ones that's like, they got that, and it might even be a small crowd, but he knows how to capture that. Them indie wrestlers know how to capture them fans' attentions, and that's just like how it is with gaming. Indie gamers or indie game developers, and it's probably because they be out there playing video games, and they're like, okay, well, I know I can do this, and then that's when you got games like Power Wash Simulator, where it's like, yeah, it might have a challenge, but you're gonna have fun with that game. Let's look up some other indie games and stuff. Okay, I guess like Helldivers 2, I think that at one point in time, it's a big game, but I know people were calling it a indie game, because the developers, compared to like other developers, they probably don't really have that much experience, but look at Helldivers 2. That's a game where it's like, that game's been trending ever since it came out. So to me, I'm like, I look at it as like, wow, like that game is actually a solid game, you know? And the thing is this, they have it in there where you can go up against boss like enemies, but they're not gonna have it where it's like you're starting off. No, they're gonna be like, no, you need to get in as much practice as you possibly can. So I guess to explain to you guys, for those that have never played Helldivers, so pretty much you start off in the game as like a level 1 enemy, but they have you go up against other easy enemies and stuff. They don't have it where you can go up against the harder enemies, but that's usually because somebody of a higher level then invited you into their game, and that's why you going up against the higher enemy and stuff. And then it's like, it ain't even really focused on what you did in that mission. It's like what you guys did together as a team. So it's like you collect all the XP that you can as a team and stuff, rather than like if you were to do that mission, let's say if you were to lag out and you had to do that mission by yourself, it's gonna take you some time because you don't have as much practice. You're not a higher leveled person and stuff. And when you're a higher level person, even then, it's like still the game is gonna be difficult by yourself. But I feel like as the time goes on, you start to unlock stuff. You start to, do things where it's like, okay, this mission is going to be, I'm not going to die as fast as I did. I most likely am going to die, doing the mission by myself. But at least I'm able to take out a whole lot of enemies as I'm going. Because, I remember when I very first got into that game, confused. Had no idea what I needed to do. But as the time went on, and I started learning, and I started, okay, then I'm like, I know how to do this game. Elden Ring ain't like that. They just put you out in the environment and they're all like, survive pretty much. You don't know where you're going, you don't know what you're doing, but we gonna have it. And my thing is this, if Helldivers 2 was anything like that, I wouldn't have been playing that game for as long as I did. But let me just see, I am gonna include the PlayStation hours, but I got 50 hours in Helldivers 2. So that overall shows where it's like, yeah, he be playing that game. He knows how to play that game. It's literally the same game. You're going up against an enemy. If it could be of a bigger size, and it is of a bigger size. But I've had it where I've had to deal with enemies of a bigger size, and guess what? If they got me going out there with a small little revolver, obviously I'm not going to take out that enemy. But if they're giving me a orbital laser, orbital nukes, a shotgun that can set things on fire, yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and get through. Oh, a flamethrower, a cannon, yeah, I think I'm going to be able to get through the missions no problem. But it's like, if you're giving me some small little dinky sword and I'm supposed to take out big giant golden man on a horse, or I'm supposed to take out some guy high enough up on, I think it was a tree or something, I couldn't even make out what it was. But anyways, and you're giving me a small little dinky sword, how are you supposed to take out that enemy? Like, honestly, though, sit down and think about that. And then people that keep saying, oh, you can skip past that guy. I'm supposed to do that throughout the whole game until I find somebody that I can take out. And then it's like, okay, then I'm going to the next person. Then it's like, same situation with them. I'll be skipping past everybody in that game before I actually sit down and play the game. I don't buy video games to skip past stuff. I buy video games to play it. I don't get what's wrong with that. But yeah, like I said, I done gave up on Elden Ring. If they add a difficulty thing to the game, then yeah, maybe one day I might play it again. But if not, and it's just going to be the same crap over and over where I just keep constantly getting killed and dying and all that stuff, I have no desires on playing Elden Ring. So I wish the developers the best, but yeah, you won't see me playing that game no time soon. So anyways, with that being said, I will talk to y'all later. Thank you guys for watching and or listening. Stay tuned for the next episode, and peace.